All right, geneticists. So we've talked about replication. Now we're going to talk about reproduction, and mostly we're actually going to talk about human reproduction. All right. So by the end of this, you should be able to know the process of human reproduction. You should also be able to differentiate between asexual and sexual reproduction, as well as identify the human reproductive organs. So basically, humans reproduce sexually. So remember that sexual reproduction requires two parents. Can require in some species more than two. Mitosis produces diploid daughter cells, and meiosis produces haploid daughter cells. So that's one end. And remember, meiosis is what produces our sex cells, such as sperm and eggs. Now, some definitions. First off, the gamete. These are sperm and ovum. So a mature haploid male and or female germ cell. These are able to unite with another one. That's a gamete. So you've got a sperm, that's a gamete. Ovum or egg, that's a gamete. These can join with another one, another gamete. And when they do this, that creates a zygote. So a zygote is a diploid cell that results from two haploid cells, two haploid gametes coming together. An example of this is a fertilized ovum, so a fertilized egg. And we have that here. So in comes a sperm, he's got his chromosomes, and he pumps them in there. He actually falls off and dies, and we've now got a fertilized ovum. So this is a photo of one. This is a real one, and it's good to see the size difference. The sperm's actually much smaller. They don't last for very long. They tend to, have a very short life, whereas an egg can last for several weeks. Now, sexual versus asexual reproduction. So essentially, we want to look at, here we've got these three, and they're all producing their own. We've got hydras. We'll spend some time looking these up later on. Unicellular organisms just copy and split. That's mitosis. Hydras bud off on the sides. And sweet potatoes, we won't go into what they're called just because it's a bit more complex. Sexual reproduction, sperm, egg, meet together, make a baby. So we can see these are all 2N all the way across the board. We start 2N, we go to 1N, and back to 2N. All right, so asexual reproduction. Single individual is the sole parent. Two parents in sexual. Single parent passes all of its genes. Again, each organism passes half of its genes. Offspring are genetically identical. Offspring have a unique combination of genes from both parents. So a clone or genetically identical individual, and over here we get genetic variation. There are advantages and disadvantages to both. So let's look at the advantages first. One, sexual reproduction. The advantages are you get high genetic variability, it facilitates adaptation, and it speeds up evolution a little bit. So on this side here with asexual though, it saves energy, courtship is not an issue, so you don't need to impress someone to have sex with them, and the greatest increase in fitness for each individual. Okay, so disadvantages. It's costly, takes a lot of energy. The courtship, it takes a lot of time and resources, and it usually sacrifices the fitness of one sex to another. For example, this does not mean the healthiness as such. It means usually you have a very large and powerful male that can survive, or a large and powerful female that can survive, and the opposite is true. Often in the animal kingdom, it's the female who is the largest and the strongest. Disadvantages for asexual, you get a low genetic variability. Adaptation to the environment is difficult, so adaptation rarely happens, and it retards evolution, which means it slows it down. All right, so human reproduction. Here's basic life cycle we've seen before. So we've got the two ends. Okay, these are the full-grown adult human beings. They produce a single N gametes. So you've got egg or ovum and sperm. These happen through meiosis. They then join together to give us through fertilization, to give us our zygote, which is 2N. This then undergoes mitosis, lots of mitosis for growth, in this case, and then we'll go through even more mitosis till it is a fully grown individual. So let's have a quick look at our reproductive systems. We'll start with the male, and then we'll get to the females. So we have testes, which is where gametes are produced. The scrotum protects the testes. You need to write this down. And you need to be able to label this diagram. We've got the epididymis, which is where sperms are stored. Then you've got sperm ducts, which they travel along. You've got the seminal vesicle, which produces semen. You've got the prostate gland, which also provides food for the sperm. You've got the urethra, which it travels down, and the penis is the entire organ. This together. All right. So then you've got the female. You have the ovaries, which is where their gametes are produced. So that's where the ovum come from. You then have the oviducts, which is where fertilization actually happens. So the egg is, these are also the fallopian tubes. That's the most common name. So the egg exists inside the fallopian tube. It's kept there, and that's where fertilization happens. You've then got the uterus, which is where the embryo is developed, and the cervix, which is so that's up here. So this is the uterus. That's where the baby grows. We've got the cervix here, which allows sperm through, prevents bacteria, etc. And then there's the vagina and the vulva, which is, so, the penis goes in there, and that's the opening. And that's it. It's actually pretty simple. And that's it. And we'll see you in class.